for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ash, and I am the person behind all of the From Field to Skin interviews that you may or may not have been listening to. And so From Field to Skin is a side project for me that I'm very passionate about, and it's where I chronicle my adventures in the Canadian fibre shed. But what I want to talk to you about today is a really exciting new kind of venture for this project, which is a fibre shed experience box. For example, my personal fibre shed is the Pembina fibre shed, and we basically look at Winnipeg as its center and go 250 miles around Winnipeg. So it's mostly Manitoba, but then there's a little bit of Saskatchewan, I think also a little bit of Ontario, and then also down into North Dakota. These fibre shed experience boxes are basically my kind of way of introducing people to the different fibre sheds. So I'm extremely fortunate and lucky to be in a position where this is my job or part of my job, and I have been able to travel to different fibre sheds, interview different players, visit different places, get to see all of the incredible things that are being made in these different regions across Canada. But I know that that's not something that is feasible for everyone for, so many reasons. And so I wanted to be able to help people to experience the different fibre sheds, and also to help players within those fibre sheds get known outside of their own personal regions. But then also, if you are part of that fibre shed, for you to be able to see, here's a curated box that contains beautiful items that are practical and useful, and well made. The boxes will always contain a skein of yarn and a pattern for a design that I create to go alongside that yarn, and then some sort of knitting or fiber related tool or object, and then a couple of other nice things that are made from within the fibre shed and are totally practical items. So for the Pembina fibre shed box, I am going to be including a number of different items, but what I wanted to show you today was a sneak peek of the yarn options. The boxes are going to go live on October 16th, which is a Tuesday, I believe. And then on October 12th, right before that, there will be a new episode that goes online with From Field to Skin, and it's going to be with my good friend Christel from Fermfiola Farm. Christel and her husband Joey are both Franco-Manitoban and Métis, and so their farm is out in Sainte-Geneviève, which is in southeastern Manitoba, and it's actually just down the road from Longway Homestead, which is super convenient for me whenever I want to go out and visit. And so it's about like a 25-minute drive from the edge of Winnipeg, so it's pretty close to the city. So Christel is the person that I've got the yarn for this fibre shed box. And so we have a few different options, and I'll tell you a little bit about each of them. So the pattern that is going to be part of this box, which is what the yarn will go along with, is a hat called Wild Bergamot, which is a plant that grows here in Manitoba. It's not actually the bergamot that you would put into Earl Grey tea. It's got different medicinal qualities to it, but it's really beautiful and wonderful, and inspired this particular design. And so this design is sized for adults, a smaller head, mine, and then a larger head. So Bryce, my friend, is the person who you'll notice in the photos as well if you haven't seen his face on around my patterns before. And so either size will take a skein of the yarn. So you wouldn't be able to get 2 hats out of it, but you could absolutely get either size out of a skein of yarn. And so our options, we've got a couple. This hat, so the one that Bryce wore was made using Oreo's fleece, and then the one that I wore is made using Manitoba farm wool that has been dyed with avocado pits and skins. And so Christel has dyed them in her kitchen. And the avocado pits and skins were gathered from a local restaurant. It was food waste that was going to go into the compost. And so Christel has diverted it to her dye pots first, and then it goes into a compost. And then the really lovely thing about it is that Christel, living outside of the city, has well water, which is full of different minerals. And so she always gets this really beautiful dusty pink, but the shades are always a little bit different each time. And so 10 of the boxes, there will be 20, 10 of them will have the option of having this avocado, and then the other yarns are all fleece specific. So Christel and Joey have a flock of sheep, and we refer to them as mutts. So they're all slightly different breeds that are mixed together with beautiful fleeces. And so the fleece specific shades are really cool because if you've worked with sheep directly and have worked with fleeces on a year-to-year basis, you know that they always change from year to year. And so these yarns that we have right here are actually they're from this year, but next year, even if you got the same sheep's yarn, it would be slightly different, which is a really cool thing, I think. But it does mean that they're super limited. And so if you really love something, then you should grab it because you won't be able to get it again. And so the gray hat that I knit for Bryce uses Oreo's yarn. And so Oreo is this really handsome little fella who has a mixed fleece, and so when you blend all the fibers together, then it creates this beautiful charcoal gray, and it is what I would call a true charcoal. And so you've got your option of your avocado pink, and then Oreo's dark charcoal, and then even darker than that is this incredibly dark and super soft brown, and it's truly like a dark chocolate brown. Like, this is your favorite devil's food cake, and this is actually from Cookies, and so Cookies fleece was super dark, and so that's those two. And then we've got slightly lighter shades as well. So this one here is from Canal, and the cool thing about Canal's fleece is that this one is kind of like, it's almost like a mix between the two, where it is this kind of grayish brown, which it's like my ideal shade of natural color personally. But the funny thing is that Canal's fleece last year was much closer to Cookies. So you can see, like, there's quite a significant difference that can come year to year. And so these are two different ones, but Canal was significantly closer to this than this. So I personally find that really interesting. And then our lightest shade, which is still, it's probably actually around the same depth of color, but is definitely more of a brown. So this is kind of like your nice mocha color. And this is from Socks. So Socks is the only non-baking related name this time around. But they create like a really beautiful option of palettes, and I'll take proper photos of them so that when you're choosing which one you want, then you get the right color. Yeah, we've got 2 skeins each of everybody except for Socks. Socks I have 4 of, but then Canal and Cookies and Oreo are all only 2 skeins each. And then, yeah, the 10 skeins of the avocado, which I think is gorgeous. So that is the yarn that will be in the Fibreshed Experience box. Other items that you can expect to see are the hat pattern, of course. There will be a download code to grab it on Ravelry. The hat pattern also will be exclusive to the Fibreshed box recipients until March of 2019. So there will only be these hats basically that get made until the pattern becomes available for everyone else several months down the road. And then there is a skin salve that I've made using Manitoba sunflower oil. It's another crop that grows really well here. So it's sunflower oil that has been infused with locally foraged and or homegrown plants. So there's geranium, calendula, lavender, plantain, and red clover. And so all of those have been grown and harvested by me by hand. Or grown by the world, and then I've gathered it by hand. And so I've infused the sunflower oil with that, and then it's been mixed with Manitoba beeswax, local beeswax, and that's it. So it's a nourishing skin salve. It doesn't really have much of a scent. Mostly it smells like sunflower seeds, actually, I think. And then there will be beautiful beeswax taper candles that are made by Raven Creek Farms, and so they are in Oak Bank, Manitoba, outside of Winnipeg, and their bees gather their honey from the Riding Mountain National Park area. And then there will also be keychains from Longway Homestead Mill, as well as information about the mill. There will be a write-up about Pembina Fibreshed, and then there will also be a selection of really beautiful handmade ornaments by Natural Knotwood Designs, and they are the last of their kind. Yeah, I hope that you love what you end up seeing, and you're kind of thinking about, you know, which yarn you want to use. The boxes will be available again as of October 16th until they sell out, and then I will be shipping them at the end of November so that they are able to arrive with you in time for the holiday season. So I hope that this is an exciting little sneak peek for you, and I'll be sharing more with you in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much.